Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair watching the stars through the main screen. The exploration ship UES Horizon had been traveling through empty space for 3 weeks now. They were looking for new planets and maybe new life forms. It was quiet work most of the time. "Captain, we are getting a signal," said Lieutenant Ryan Cooper from his station. Ryan was young but good at his job. He handled all communications for the ship. "Where is it coming from?" Jake asked. He turned his chair to look at Ryan. "It is coming from a star system that is not on our maps. The signal is very strong. Someone really wants to talk to us." Dr. Lisa Chen looked up from her science station. She was the ship's expert on alien life. "Captain, this could be first contact with a new species. We should be very careful." Jake nodded. First contact was always dangerous. They never knew if aliens would be friendly or want to fight. "Put the signal on screen, Ryan." The main screen changed from showing stars to showing something amazing. A woman appeared on the screen, but she was not human. Her skin looked like it was made of crystal and glowed with soft blue light. Her eyes were large and silver. Her hair moved like it was underwater even though there was no water around her. "Greetings, humans," the alien woman said. Her voice was beautiful, but sad. "I am Princess Zarathel of the Velthari Empire. I have been watching your ship for many days." Jake stood up from his chair. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earthship Horizon. We come in peace, Princess." The princess smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Captain Morrison, I need your help. My people are dying. We have a problem that only humans can solve." Dr. Chen moved closer to the screen. "What kind of problem?" "My people have lived for thousands of years, but we are all too similar now. Our children are weak and sick. Many die before they grow up. If nothing changes, the Velthari will be gone in 50 years. Jake felt sorry for the princess, but he was also worried. "How can we help you?" Princess Zarathel looked directly at Jake through the screen. "I have 3 daughters. They need to have children to save our people, but they cannot have healthy children with Velthari males. The children would be too weak." "I still do not understand how we can help," Jake said. The princess took a deep breath. "I need one of your human males. He must bond with my daughters and help them create strong children. Your human genetics are what we need to survive." Everyone on the bridge was quiet. Ryan's mouth fell open. Dr. Chen stepped back from the screen. Jake did not know what to say. "Princess, what you are asking is very unusual. We need time to think about this." The princess's eyes became bright with anger. "Captain, you do not understand. I am not asking. I am telling you what must happen. One of your males will come with me or your ship will be destroyed." Suddenly, warning lights started flashing on the bridge. Lieutenant Amy Parker at the weapons station called out, "Captain, we have multiple ships surrounding us. They just appeared out of nowhere." Jake looked at the tactical display. 12 alien ships had them completely surrounded. Each ship was 3 times bigger than the Horizon. "My ships have weapons that can turn your vessel into dust in seconds, Princess," Zarathel said. Her voice was still beautiful, but now it was cold. "I do not want to hurt you, but I will do anything to save my people." Ryan stood up from his station. "Captain, I volunteer." Everyone turned to look at him. Jake was shocked. "Ryan, you do not know what you are saying." "Yes, I do, Captain. If we can help save an entire species from dying out, is that not our duty? We came out here to explore and help others. This is our chance to really make a difference." Dr. Chen shook her head. "Ryan, we do not know anything about their reproduction process. It could be dangerous for you." "Everything we do out here is dangerous," Ryan said. "But this is a chance to save billions of lives." Princess Zarathel watched Ryan with interest. "The young human shows wisdom. What is your name?" "Lieutenant Ryan Cooper, Your Highness." "Ryan Cooper, you would be treated with great honor on my world. You would want for nothing. My daughters are beautiful and intelligent. The bonding process would give you abilities you cannot imagine." Jake stepped between Ryan and the screen. "Princess, we need to discuss this privately. Can you give us some time?" "You have 1 hour, Captain Morrison. If you do not agree, I will take your ship and choose a male myself. It would be better if one of them comes willingly. The screen went dark. Jake looked around at his crew. They all looked scared and confused. Captain, Dr. Chen said quietly, we need to contact Earth Command. They need to know about this situation. There is no time, Jake said. Even if we could send a message faster than light, it would take days to get a reply. We have 1 hour to decide. Ryan walked over to Jake. Captain, I meant what I said. I want to do this. Ryan, you are talking about leaving your whole life behind. You might never see Earth again. You might never see other humans again. I know, Captain. But think about what we could learn. Think about the alliance we could build. The princess said her people have technology we cannot imagine. If we help them, they might share it with us. Amy Parker spoke up from her station. Captain, I am reading the alien ships. Their weapons and shields are far beyond anything we have. If they wanted to destroy us, we would already be dead. Jake sat back down in his command chair. He had to make the hardest decision of his career. One of his crew members wanted to sacrifice himself to save an alien species. If Jake said no, the aliens might attack and kill everyone. If he said yes, he would be sending Ryan to an unknown fate. Dr. Chen, what do you think about the princess's story? Could human genetics really help them? Lisa looked at her datapad. It is possible, Captain. If their species has been isolated for thousands of years, their gene pool would be very small. Human genetics are very diverse. We evolved on a planet with many challenges, so we adapted in many ways. Our genetics might give their children the diversity they need to survive. Jake looked at Ryan. The young man's face was determined. Jake knew that Ryan had made up his mind. Princess Zarathel, Jake said to the screen, we accept your proposal. Lieutenant Cooper will come with you voluntarily, but we want guarantees for his safety. The princess appeared on the screen again. This time, she looked relieved. Thank you, Captain Morrison. Lieutenant Cooper will be safe, I promise you. He will be treated like royalty. Follow my ships to our home world. You and your crew are invited to witness the bonding ceremony. As the Horizon began following the Velthari ships, Jake wondered if he had made the right choice. They were about to enter a world completely different from anything humans had ever seen. Whatever happened next would change both species forever. The Velthari homeworld was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. As the Horizon approached the planet, Captain Jake Morrison stared at the main screen in wonder. The entire world seemed to glow with soft light. Cities made of crystal stretched across the continents like jewels scattered on green cloth. Captain, look at those structures, Dr. Lisa Chen said from her science station. They are not built like our buildings. They look like they grew from the ground. Lieutenant Ryan Cooper stood beside Jake, watching his future home get bigger on the screen. His hands were shaking a little, but his face was calm. It is beautiful, he said quietly. Princess Zarathel's voice came through the speakers. Welcome to Velthari Prime, humans. We will dock your ship at the royal port. You will be my guests while Lieutenant Cooper prepares for the bonding ceremony. The royal port was a massive structure that looked like a flower made of silver and gold. When the Horizon landed, the humans could see Velthari people waiting for them. They all had the same crystal-like skin that glowed with different colors. Some glowed blue, others green or purple. Jake, Ryan, and Lisa put on their dress uniforms and prepared to meet the aliens. As they walked down the ship's ramp, warm air filled with sweet smells surrounded them. The gravity felt lighter than on Earth, making each step feel like a small jump. Princess Zarathel waited for them at the bottom of the ramp. In person, she was even more beautiful than on the screen. She wore a flowing dress that seemed to be made of liquid light. When she moved, colors danced across the fabric. Captain Morrison, Dr. Chen, Lieutenant Cooper, welcome to my world, she said with a bow. I hope your journey was comfortable. Thank you for your hospitality, Princess, Jake replied. He was not sure if he should bow back, so he nodded respectfully. Come. I will show you to the palace. My daughters are eager to meet Lieutenant Cooper. They rode in vehicles that floated above the ground without making any sound. The city around them was full of wonders. Trees with silver leaves grew next to buildings that looked like they were made of frozen music. Velthari people stopped to watch the humans pass by. Their large silver eyes followed the strange visitors with curiosity. The royal palace was the most amazing thing the humans had seen yet. It rose from the ground like a living mountain, its walls pulsing with gentle light that changed colors slowly. Gardens floated in the air around the palace, held up by some kind of invisible force. "How do you make the gardens float?" Lisa asked. She could not stop looking at the plants growing in midair. "We learned long ago how to control gravity," Princess Zarathel explained. "It is one of our oldest technologies. We will share our knowledge with your people if the bonding is successful." Inside the palace, everything was curved and smooth. There were no sharp corners anywhere. The walls seemed to breathe with soft light. Ryan felt like he was walking inside a living creature rather than a building. "Lieutenant Cooper," Princess Zarathel said as they walked through the corridors, "I must explain something important about our bonding process. It is not like human reproduction. We do not create children the way your species does." Ryan felt his face get hot. "What do you mean, Princess?" "The bonding is a sharing of minds and emotions. When a Velthari bonds with another, they connect their life force. This creates a genetic template that we use to grow children in special chambers. The children carry the best traits of both parents." Lisa was very interested in this. "You mean the children are grown artificially?" "Yes, Dr. Chen. This way, we can make sure the children are healthy and strong. But the bonding must be real. The parents must truly care for each other, or the template will be weak." They entered a large room with a high ceiling that looked like the inside of a giant crystal. 3 Velthari women stood waiting for them. Ryan knew these must be the princesses. The first princess was tall and strong-looking. Her crystal skin glowed with silver light, and she wore armor that seemed to be made of metal and light combined. When she looked at Ryan, her silver eyes were sharp and intelligent. "This is my oldest daughter, Princess Liravel," Zarathel said. "She leads our military forces and studies the science of war." Princess Liravel stepped forward and looked Ryan up and down like she was examining a weapon. "So this is the human male who will save our people," she said. Her voice was strong and clear. "You are smaller than I expected. Are all human males so small?" "I am average size for a human," Ryan said, trying not to feel insulted. The second princess laughed, and the sound was like bells ringing. She was shorter than her sister, and her skin glowed with warm golden light. Her eyes were kind, and when she looked at Ryan, he felt peaceful. "Do not mind Liravel," the second princess said. "She judges everyone like they are soldiers. I am Princess Nova Esh. I study emotions and the connections between living things." When Princess Nova Esh touched Ryan's hand, he felt a strange tingling sensation. It was like she could read his thoughts and feelings just by touching him. "You are nervous," she said with a smile, "but also brave. You care about helping others, even when it means sacrifice. This is good." The third princess was the youngest. She bounced on her feet like she could not stand still. Her skin glowed with changing colors that shifted from blue to green to purple. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "And I am Princess Kiralin," she said quickly. "I study your human culture. I have watched your television signals and listened to your music. Why do humans sing about love so much? Is it really as important as your songs say?" Ryan laughed despite his nervousness. "Yes, love is very important to humans. We believe it makes life worth living." "Fascinating," Kiralin said. "We Velthari do not have songs about emotions. We must learn about this human concept of love." Princess Zarathel watched her daughters meet Ryan with satisfaction. "As you can see, Lieutenant Cooper, my daughters are very different from each other. Liravel is our warrior, Nova Esh is our empath, and Kiralin is our scholar. Together, they represent all aspects of our people." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Princess, may I ask about the genetics involved in this process? I would like to understand how human and Velthari traits would combine." "Of course, Dr. Chen. Come, I will show you our biolaboratories." You will see how we grow our children and how the bonding process creates the genetic templates. As they toured the laboratory, Lisa was amazed by the Velthari technology. The biochambers looked like giant crystal eggs filled with glowing liquid. Inside some of them, she could see small Velthari children growing. "This is incredible," Lisa said. "Your technology is centuries ahead of ours." "Yes, but our technology cannot solve our genetic problem," Princess Zarathel said sadly. "We have become too similar to each other. Our children are weak because they do not have enough genetic diversity. This is why we need Lieutenant Cooper." Ryan watched the growing children and felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. These alien children needed him to survive. An entire species was depending on him. "Princess," Ryan said, "what happens to me during the bonding process? Will I still be human?" Princess Zarathel looked at him with gentle eyes. "You will always be human, Lieutenant Cooper. But the bonding will change you in some ways. You will gain some of our abilities: longer life, mental connections with my daughters, and enhanced physical capabilities. Is this acceptable to you?" Ryan looked at Captain Morrison and Dr. Chen. His captain nodded slowly, giving him permission to make his own choice. "Yes, Princess, I accept these changes." "Then tomorrow we will begin the bonding ceremony," Princess Zarathel announced. "Tonight you will feast with us and learn more about our culture. The bonding requires understanding between all participants." As night fell on the Crystal City, Ryan realized his life as a simple communications officer was ending. Tomorrow he would begin a new existence as the bridge between two species. The thought was both terrifying and exciting. Looking up at the alien stars through the palace's crystal walls, Ryan wondered what kind of children would come from the union of human and Velthari genetics. Whatever happened, he knew the galaxy would never be the same. Ryan Cooper woke up in a room that looked like the inside of a giant pearl. The walls glowed with soft morning light, and he could hear strange music coming from somewhere outside. Today was the day of the bonding ceremony, and his stomach felt like it was full of butterflies. A servant brought him breakfast on a tray made of what looked like solid light. The food was strange, but tasted good. There were fruits that changed flavor as he chewed them and bread that was warm even though it had been sitting for minutes. Captain Jake Morrison and Dr. Lisa Chen came to visit him before the ceremony began. They both looked worried. "How are you feeling, Ryan?" Jake asked. "Scared, but ready," Ryan answered honestly. "I keep thinking about all the Velthari children who might live because of this." Lisa sat down beside him. "Ryan, I have been studying their bonding process all night. It is more complex than we thought. You will be connected to all three princesses at the same time. No Velthari male has ever done this before." "What does that mean?" "We do not know," Lisa said. "Princess Zarathel says it might make the bonding stronger, but it could also be dangerous for you." Ryan nodded. He had already made his choice, and he would not change his mind now. Princess Lyravel came to get him when it was time. She wore silver armor that seemed to flow like water when she moved. "Are you ready, human Ryan?" she asked. "As ready as I can be," he replied. "Good. Today you will learn what it means to be strong. The bonding is not just about creating children. It is about becoming something new." She led him through the palace to a training room filled with strange weapons and equipment. "Before we bond, I must test your warrior spirit," she said. She handed him a weapon that looked like a sword made of light. When he touched it, the weapon felt warm and seemed to respond to his thoughts. "Attack me," Princess Lyravel commanded. Ryan hesitated. "I do not want to hurt you." She laughed. "You cannot hurt me with that weapon. It is set to training mode, but I need to see how you fight." Ryan had trained in combat at the Space Academy, but fighting with a light sword was completely different. Princess Lyravel moved like a dancer, her silver armor gleaming as she blocked every attack he made. But Ryan did something that surprised her. Instead of trying to overpower her, he started using tricks. He threw dirt at her eyes, used furniture as shields, and attacked from unexpected angles. "Interesting," she said, lowering her weapon. "You do not fight with honor like a Velthari warrior." "I fight to win," Ryan said. Princess Lyravel smiled for the first time since he had met her. Yes, you do. This is good. Survival is more important than honor. My people forgot this lesson long ago. She touched his forehead with her hand, and Ryan felt a strange tingling sensation. I accept you as a bonding partner, Ryan Cooper. You have the warrior spirit we need. Next, Princess Novaesh came to get him. She wore a dress that seemed to be made of golden mist, and her eyes glowed with warm light. Now you must show me your heart, she said softly. She led him to a garden where the air smelled like flowers and rain. They sat beside a fountain that played music instead of making water sounds. Tell me about love, Ryan, she said. My sister Kirillin says humans sing about it, but I want to understand what it really means. Ryan thought about his family back on Earth. Love is caring about someone more than you care about yourself. It is wanting to protect them and make them happy, even if it costs you something. Princess Novaesh placed her hand on his chest, over his heart. Suddenly, Ryan could feel her emotions mixing with his own. He felt her loneliness, her fear that her people would die out, and her hope that he could save them. But she also felt his emotions. She experienced his determination to help her people and his growing care for all three princesses. Your emotions are so strong, she whispered. Velthari feelings are gentle like soft music, but human emotions are like fire. They burn bright and powerful. Tears ran down her golden cheeks. I can feel how much you care about others. This is what we have lost. This is what our children need to survive. She kissed his forehead gently. I accept you as a bonding partner, Ryan Cooper. You have the loving heart we need. Finally, Princess Kirillin bounded into the garden like an excited child. Her skin sparkled with colors that changed like a rainbow. My turn, she said happily. I want to show you something amazing. She took his hand and led him to a room filled with what looked like floating books. But when Ryan looked closer, he saw they were not books at all. They were recordings of light and sound that showed human culture. I have been studying your people for years, she said. Look at this. She touched one of the floating objects, and suddenly Ryan was watching scenes from Earth. He saw children playing in parks, artists painting pictures, musicians performing concerts, and scientists making discoveries. Your people create so many beautiful things, Princess Kirillin said. We Velthari are very advanced, but we stopped creating new art long ago. We only repeat the old patterns. She showed him Velthari art, and Ryan saw what she meant. Everything was perfect and beautiful, but it all looked the same. There was no chaos, no wild creativity, no happy accidents. Teach me to be creative like a human, she begged. Show me how to make something new and unexpected. Ryan looked around the room and picked up some of the floating light books. He started juggling them, making them dance in the air in patterns. That had no purpose except to be fun. Princess Kirillin clapped her hands with delight. Yes, that is so wonderfully pointless and beautiful. She tried to copy him, but kept making perfect patterns instead of chaotic ones. Ryan laughed and showed her how to let go of control and just play. Your mind is like a star that makes its own light, she said in wonder. Velthari minds are like mirrors that only reflect what already exists. I accept you as a bonding partner, Ryan Cooper. You have the creative spirit we need. That evening, all three princesses came to get Ryan for the actual bonding ceremony. They led him to a chamber deep inside the palace where Princess Zarathel waited with several other important Velthari. The bonding chamber was filled with crystal formations that hummed with energy. In the center was a pool of glowing liquid that looked like liquid starlight. The bonding pool will connect your life force with my daughters, Princess Zarathel explained. You will share thoughts, emotions, and genetic patterns. Are you ready? Ryan looked at the three princesses. Princess Lyravel stood straight and proud like a soldier. Princess Novaesh glowed with gentle warmth like a candle. Princess Kirillin sparkled with excited energy like fireworks. I am ready, he said. All four of them stepped into the pool together. The liquid was warm and tingly like bathing in lightning. Ryan felt the minds of the three princesses connecting with his own. Suddenly he could feel everything they felt. Lyravel's strength and determination, Nova Isha's empathy and love, Kira Lynn's curiosity and joy. At the same time, they experienced his human emotions, his fierce protective instincts, his ability to hope even in darkness, and his drive to never give up. The connection grew stronger and stronger until Ryan could not tell where his thoughts ended and theirs began. But instead of losing himself, he felt more complete than ever before. Light exploded around them as the bonding completed. When it faded, Ryan could feel new abilities awakening in his mind. He could sense the emotions of everyone in the room. His body felt stronger and more alive than ever before. But the princesses had changed too. Princess Lyravel's eyes now held a spark of human unpredictability. Princess Nova Esh radiated warmth that felt familiar and human. Princess Kira Lynn practically vibrated with creative energy. "It is done," Princess Zarathel announced. "The genetic templates have been created. Soon the first human Velthari children will begin growing." Ryan looked at his new bonded partners and felt a love stronger than anything he had ever experienced. These were not just alien princesses anymore. They were his family, connected to him by bonds deeper than blood. Outside the palace, the first stars of evening were appearing. Among them, Ryan knew, were the stars of Earth where his old life waited. But this was his new home now. And these were his new people. The bonding was complete, but Ryan had a feeling their real adventure was just beginning. 3 days after the bonding ceremony, Ryan Cooper was learning to use his new abilities when the alarm started screaming throughout the Crystal Palace. The sound was like nothing he had ever heard, a deep wailing that made his bones vibrate. Princess Lyravel burst into the garden where Ryan was practicing moving objects with his mind. Her silver armor was already glowing brighter, ready for battle. "Ships are coming," she said quickly. "Many ships. They are not friendly." Ryan could feel her emotions through their bond. She was excited for a fight, but also worried about something bigger than just one battle. Captain Jake Morrison's voice came through Ryan's communication device. "Ryan, we are reading a massive fleet approaching the system. At least 50 ships, maybe more. They are not responding to our signals." Princess Nova Esh and Princess Kira Lynn arrived together, both looking scared. Through their mental connection, Ryan felt their fear mixing with his own confusion. "Who would attack us?" Ryan asked. Princess Zarathel appeared in the garden, moving, faster than Ryan had ever seen her move. Her usual calm was gone, replaced by something that looked like panic. "It is the Hegemony Fleet," she said. "They are a group of alien species who work together. They must have learned about our bonding." "Why would they care?" Ryan asked. Before Princess Zarathel could answer, a new voice filled the air around them. It was deep and harsh, speaking through speakers that appeared from nowhere. "This is Admiral Thexmore of the Corvan Empire commanding the Hegemony Fleet. Princess Zarathel, you have made a terrible mistake." The air above them shimmered, and a hologram appeared. The creature speaking was tall and covered in what looked like black metal scales. Its eyes glowed red, and its teeth were sharp like a shark's. "Admiral Thexmore," Princess Zarathel replied, trying to sound calm. "Why have you come to our world?" "You know why," the alien admiral growled. "You have bonded with the humans. This cannot be allowed to continue." Ryan felt anger rising in his chest. "What right do you have to tell us what we can and cannot do?" "Admiral." Thexmore's red eyes focused on Ryan through the hologram. "Ah, the human male. You do not understand what you have done, do you?" "I helped save a dying species," Ryan said firmly. The alien admiral laughed, but it sounded more like metal scraping against stone. "You have doomed us all. Humans are a plague species. You adapt, you survive, you spread to every corner of space. Now you have given your traits to the Velthari." Dr. Lisa Chen's voice came through the communication system from the horizon. "Captain Morrison, I am reading the approaching fleet. Their weapons are far beyond anything we have seen before." Admiral Thexmore continued speaking. "The Velthari were content to stay on their world, trapped by their own genetic limitations. But now they have human adaptability. They will spread across the galaxy like you humans do. They will take resources, planets, everything. Princess Lyravel stepped forward, her armor glowing brighter with anger. We have never taken anything from other species. We are a peaceful people. You were peaceful because you were weak, Admiral, Thexmore said. But humans are not weak. They turn everything into a weapon, even peace. If the Velthari gain human traits, they will become unstoppable. Ryan felt something new flowing through the bond he shared with the three princesses. It was not just their individual emotions anymore. It was something bigger, like the combined will of their entire species. You are afraid of us, Ryan said, understanding flooding through him. You are afraid that humans and Velthari together will be stronger than you. Fear is wisdom when dealing with humans, Admiral Thexmore replied. You have 1 hour to separate the human from the Velthari princesses. Break the bond, or we will destroy your world. The hologram disappeared, leaving them alone in the garden, but Ryan could feel ships moving around the planet like hungry wolves circling their prey. Can the bond be broken? Ryan asked Princess Zarathel. Not without killing all of you, she replied sadly. The genetic templates have already been created. Even if we could separate you, the knowledge of how to combine our species would remain. Captain Morrison's voice came through the communication device again. Ryan, I am bringing the Horizon to the palace. We need to plan our defense. What? Defense? Princess Novaesh asked through their bond. We are peaceful people. We have no warships. But Princess Lyravel was already thinking like a warrior. Ryan could feel her mind working through their connection. We have something better than warships, she said. We have human thinking. An hour later, they met in the palace's command center. Captain Morrison, Dr. Chen, and the ship's tactical officer, Lieutenant Amy Parker, had joined them. The room was filled with holographic displays showing the enemy fleet surrounding the planet. 53 ships, Amy reported. Each one is bigger than our ship and has weapons that could crack a planet. Admiral Thexmore's image appeared again. Your time is up, Princess Zarathel. Will you surrender the human? No, all three princesses said at the same time. Their voices harmonized in a way that made the crystal walls of the palace ring like bells. Then you have chosen death, Admiral Thexmore said. Begin the attack. But as the enemy ships began, moving toward the planet, something unexpected happened. Princess Lyravel touched a control panel, and suddenly the space around Velthari Prime was filled with asteroids. What did you do? Captain Morrison asked. I moved our asteroid mining stations, Princess Lyravel said with a smile that looked very human. Ryan taught me about using the environment as a weapon. The hegemony ships had to slow down and change course to avoid hitting the floating rocks. Some of the smaller ships actually crashed into asteroids they did not see in time. Impossible, Admiral Thexmore snarled. Velthari do not fight with tricks. We do now, Princess Kirillin said happily. She was working at another control panel, and Ryan could feel her creative mind spinning with new ideas. Suddenly, the asteroids began changing. What had looked like ordinary rock started sprouting weapons and shields. Princess Kirillin had turned the mining equipment into defensive platforms. This is not possible, Admiral Thexmore repeated. Your technology cannot do this. Dr. Chen was watching her scanners with amazement. They are adapting their technology in real time. I have never seen anything like it. Princess Novaesh was connected to Ryan and her sisters through their bond, coordinating their entire defense like a single organism. She could feel what each asteroid platform needed and adjust their targeting systems instantly. But Ryan was doing something even more impressive. The bonding process had given him the ability to interface directly with Velthari technology, but he still thought like a human. He was making their computers do things they were never designed to do. Our shields are failing, reported one of the hegemony ship captains. How is this possible? Admiral Thexmore demanded. They have one small planet and some mining equipment. Captain, Morrison smiled as he watched the battle unfold. Admiral, you have never fought humans before, have you? What do you mean? Humans do not fight fair, Jake said. We fight to win, and now the Velthari are learning to fight like us. The tide of battle was turning. The hegemony fleet was bigger and had better weapons, but they could not adapt to the constantly changing tactics the Velthari were using. Every time they thought they understood the defense pattern, Princess Kirillin would change it. Admiral Thexmore's face was twisted with rage. You think you have won, but this is only the beginning. When word spreads that humans and Velthari can work together like this, every species in the galaxy will unite against you. Let them come, Princess Lyravel said. Her voice was cold as space and hard as diamond. We are not afraid anymore. Ryan felt something flowing through their bond that made him proud and terrified at the same time. The princesses were not just learning human tactics. They were becoming something new, something that combined the best of both species. As the surviving hegemony ships retreated into hyperspace, Admiral Thexmore sent one final message. You have doomed yourselves, humans. We will return with 1,000 ships. The galaxy will not allow this alliance to survive. The communication ended, leaving them alone in the command center. Through the crystal walls, they could see the wreckage of enemy ships floating among the asteroids. Ryan looked at his bonded partners and felt their emotions mixing with his own. They had won this battle, but the war was just beginning. And somewhere in the biochambers deep beneath the palace, the first human Velthari children were beginning to grow. The galaxy would never be the same again. The question was whether it would survive what was coming next. Oni Fleet. Ryan Cooper stood in the biochamber room watching something that filled him with wonder and fear. Inside the crystal growing pods, small forms were taking shape. The first human Velthari children were developing faster than anyone had expected. Dr. Lisa Chen checked her instruments again, shaking her head in amazement. Ryan, these children are growing at an incredible rate. What should have taken 9 months is happening in 3. Princess Novaesh placed her hand on one of the glowing chambers. Through their bond, Ryan felt her emotions, joy mixed with worry. They are strong, she said softly. I can feel their life force even now. But they are different from anything we have seen before. Princess Zarathel entered the chamber, moving slowly. The former queen had aged rapidly since the bonding ceremony, as if transferring her power to her daughters had drained her own life force. The children carry both our greatest strengths and our greatest weaknesses, she said, looking at the growing forms. They will live for thousands of years like us, but they will have human creativity and adaptability. They will be able to survive anywhere, adapt to anything. Ryan touched the warm crystal of the nearest chamber. Inside, he could see a small figure with skin that glowed softly like Velthari, but had features that looked more human. What kind of world will they inherit? His question was answered by alarms echoing through the palace. Princess Lyravel's voice came through the communication system, urgent and tight with worry. They are back. Admiral Thexmore has returned with more ships than we can count. Ryan and the others rushed to the command center where Captain Jake Morrison was already waiting with his crew. The holographic display showed space around Velthari Prime filled with enemy vessels. There were hundreds of them from dozens of different species. Admiral Thexmore was not lying, Captain Morrison said grimly. He has united half the galaxy against us. Admiral Thexmore's scarred face appeared on the main display, his red eyes burning with hatred. Princess Zarathel, your time has ended. We have come with enough firepower to turn your world into cosmic dust. What do you want from us? Princess Zarathel asked. Surrender the human and destroy the growing children. End this abomination before it spreads to other worlds. Princess Kirillin stepped forward, her skin sparkling with angry colors. We will never harm our children. Then you will all die with them, Admiral Thexmore snarled. Begin the bombardment. But before the enemy ships could fire, something unexpected happened. Ships began appearing throughout the system. Not enemy ships, but vessels Ryan had never seen before. They looked like they were made of living wood and metal combined. What are those? Dr. Chen asked. A new voice filled the command center, speaking with an accent that sounded like wind through trees. This is Captain Elmdar of the Solani Federation. We have come to stand with our new allies. More ships appeared. These looked like they were carved from stone and crystal. Another voice joined the communication. This is Commander Stoneheart of the Granite Worlds. We also stand with the Human Velthari Alliance. Admiral Thexmore's face twisted with rage. You fools, do you not understand what you are doing? The humans will consume everything. Captain Elmdar laughed, and it sounded like gentle rain. We have studied the humans, Admiral. Yes, they are dangerous, but they are also capable of great kindness. They came here to help a dying species, not to conquer. More and more ships kept appearing until the space around Velthari Prime was filled with vessels from species that had never worked together before. Ryan felt amazement flowing through his bond with the princesses. How did they know to come? He asked. Princess Nova Esh smiled. Word travels fast in the galaxy. Many species have genetic problems like we did. When they heard that humans could help save dying races, they became interested. Commander Stoneheart's deep voice rumbled through the speakers. Admiral Thexmore, you speak of human expansion, but what we see is human cooperation. They did not take anything from the Velthari. They gave something. This changes nothing, Admiral Thexmore growled. We still outnumber you. Do you? Captain Morrison asked with a smile. Computer, show me the current ship count. The display updated. The hegemony fleet had 400 ships. The Allied fleet defending Velthari Prime had 600 and growing as more vessels continued to arrive. But the real surprise came when Princess Lyravel activated the planet's new defenses. The asteroid field around the world began moving, reshaping itself into a massive defensive grid. Each asteroid had been converted into a weapons platform using combined human and Velthari technology. Impossible. Admiral Thexmore whispered. How did you build so much so quickly? Ryan felt pride flowing through his connection with Princess Kiralyn. We did not build it, she said happily. We grew it. Human creativity plus Velthari biotechnology equals things that should not be possible. The biochambers throughout the palace began glowing brighter. Dr. Chen checked her readings and gasped. The children are accelerating their growth. They are responding to the danger. That should not be possible, Princess Zarathel said, but she was smiling. They are not even born yet. Ryan felt something touching his mind through the bond. It was not the princesses this time. It was something smaller, younger, but incredibly strong. The unborn children were reaching out to their parents. They want to help, Ryan said in wonder. They can feel that their family is in danger. Suddenly, every piece of Velthari technology in the system began working better than it ever had before. Ships moved faster. Weapons hit harder. Shields held stronger. The unborn children were somehow enhancing their parents' abilities from inside their growing chambers. 2 months after the battle with the Hegem, the battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The hegemony fleet was larger and had more powerful individual ships, but they could not adapt to the constantly changing tactics of the Allied forces. Princess Lyravel commanded the defense like a conductor leading an orchestra. She used human unpredictability to keep the enemy guessing, while Princess Nova Esh coordinated the emotions and reactions of hundreds of different species through their ship's communication systems. Princess Kiralyn created new weapons and defenses in real time, turning asteroid mining equipment into tools of war and back again so quickly that the enemy could not plan for them. And Ryan tied it all together, his human mind interfacing with Velthari technology in ways that should have been impossible, creating a defense network that thought and adapted like a living creature. The turning point came when Admiral Thexmore himself tried to break through the defensive line to attack the palace directly. His massive flagship was the most powerful warship the Corvan Empire had ever built. But as he approached the planet, every biochamber in the palace pulsed with brilliant light. The unborn children reached out with their developing minds and touched the Admiral's ship. For the first time in his life, Admiral Thexmore felt what the children felt: love for their parents, hope for the future, and a desire to protect rather than destroy. What is this? He whispered, his voice shaking. It is what humans call compassion, Ryan said through the communication system. Your children would have it too if you let them. Admiral Thexmore's ship stopped moving. Around him, other hegemony vessels began withdrawing from the battle. The Admiral's voice was quiet when he spoke again. We have made a terrible mistake. We thought humans would destroy us. but perhaps we have been destroying ourselves with fear. Not all of the hegemony fleet retreated. Some species were too afraid or too proud to admit they were wrong, but enough ships withdrew that the battle was clearly over. In the weeks that followed, Princess Zarathel formally abdicated her throne. Her 3 daughters became the joint rulers of a new kind of civilization, one that combined species rather than separating them. The first human Velthari children were born healthy and strong. They had their mother's long lives and psychic abilities, but also their father's adaptability and creative spirit. When they opened their eyes for the first time, they looked at Ryan with intelligence that seemed far older than their infant bodies. Captain Morrison negotiated a formal alliance between Earth and the new Velthari Federation. Humans would share their adaptability and creativity, while the Velthari would share their advanced technology and long perspective. Ryan found himself appointed as the first human Velthari ambassador, a position that did not exist until he filled it. He would spend his greatly extended lifetime helping other species learn to work together instead of fighting each other. As he stood in the palace garden holding his first child, a daughter whose skin sparkled with changing colors like her mother Kira Lynn, Ryan thought about how much had changed. He had volunteered to help save one species and ended up changing the entire galaxy. Other species began arriving at Velthari Prime, not to conquer or threaten, but to learn. They wanted to understand how cooperation could be stronger than competition, how diversity could create strength instead of weakness. The biochambers in the palace were expanded to help other dying species revitalize their genetics. Human volunteers arrived from Earth to help, and soon the palace was filled with the sounds of children from dozens of different worlds. Admiral Thexmore himself eventually came to Velthari Prime, not as an enemy, but as someone seeking help for his own people's genetic problems. When Ryan met him in person, the former admiral looked older and sadder than in the holograms. "I spent my life fighting change," Admiral Thexmore said. "I thought preservation meant keeping everything the same. But your children showed me that real preservation means allowing growth." Ryan watched his daughter play with children from a dozen different species, all of them laughing together in the universal language of joy. "Change is not something to fear," he said. "It is something to guide." As the sun set over the crystal city, Ryan felt the contentment of his bonded partners flowing through their connection. They had saved their people, but more than that, they had created something new. A galaxy where cooperation was stronger than fear. The stars above held infinite possibilities, and for the first time in galactic history, most of those possibilities looked bright.